Hello, hello, hello. Welcome into tonight's live. It's Friday. Welcome in. If it's your first time here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. You can call me either or. And welcome into tonight's live. Welcome on in, everybody. And if you're joining me for yet another live, if you're not new, welcome back. Gotta say hi to the people that come and visit all the time. We'll say hi to some people in the chat, and then we'll get started with tonight's coverage. But if you would like to become a channel member, we would love to have you. And if you're interested in becoming one throughout the live, I'll put the link in the chat. So, or you can wait for Nightbot. Nightbot filters it in. So, hey, Catherine. Hey, Cheryl. Welcome in. Hey, Dark Willow. Stephanie's here. Ladybug Captain. Good to see you guys again. If I saw you earlier, because we did do a live earlier today over Mansa-Caffel bat. That's another case that we're covering on the channel. So if you want some updates in that case, make sure you hit that video up after we're done. Have you guys seen the amount of? Hey, Mary Beth. I don't know if I said hi to you in the beginning. I think I did. Hey, Faith. Did you guys see? Have you guys been watching the weather? Hey, Faith. I was on Twitter before I got onto YouTube, I was over on Twitter and I was like, oh my gosh, some of those places got hit so hard. And I hate running water like that. I hate moving water. No, I'd be on the roof too. There was like people stuck at a hospital. Like they were on the roof. Can you imagine being in the hospital and a hurricane comes flying through? I couldn't. We're getting the tail end of it here. You should have saw me. I should have taken video of this. Oh, I didn't. I went out earlier and it's like a little hurricane out there here in Ohio. It's like the winds are blowing and the rain. It's just like what happened, and it's pouring down. So I had to wear Vincent's old raincoat. It's like a brand new jacket, but it's brand new, but we don't usually wear it. Hey, Brenda, it's from his old job. I was like, I'm wearing this. Hey, Sirius, welcome in. Hey, Cat's Life. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Joyce. And I thought I saw someone else say it was their first time here. If it's your first time here, welcome on in. Good to see everybody. I was trying to get down to the bottom here. Hey, Wizard. Thank you, Joyce. I appreciate that. I try to make it soothing for you guys, because we're going to talk about bad things, not bad. Yeah, they're kind of bad. Not, they're not real fun things to talk about. So at least make the music good, huh, in the beginning. But we will go ahead. We'll get started. So we're going to talk about Ellen Greenberg tonight. We've been following her case on this channel for a little while now. And there's some new stuff that's been coming out, and I'm here for it. We're here to listen, we're here to listen to all the new stuff. So let me pop up a picture of Ellen if you guys are unfamiliar with who I'm talking about, referring to when I talk about Ellen. I'm talking about Ellen Greenberg. In January 26, 2011, she was a school teacher, and she left work early because there was a blizzard that hit Philadelphia. So she left work early, went to her apartment at approximately 6:40 p.m. that evening. She was pronounced dead. She was pronounced dead as a result of 20 different wounds, and they were big, including 10 to her back and to her neck. So this weapon of choice was like 8 inches, I think they said. I have it here. I have the same knife. I can always go measure it. But it just doesn't read right. It just doesn't read right. Her body was discovered by her fiance, Samuel. So basically, she comes home from work. She's making a salad in the kitchen. He goes to the gym. He comes back from the gym, goes to try to walk into the house, and can't get in. Can't get into their apartment. They have one of those swing locks like you have kind of at the hotels. And I actually have the crime scene photos. I can show you this. So like this is the door right here. He returned, from the gym a few minutes later. couldn't get into the apartment. Goes downstairs, tries to get help, ends up kicking the door down, I guess, to get in. In my opinion, it doesn't look like it's been kicked in, but that's just me. And that's a lot of people say that. But he kicked the door in, I guess, and that's when he found her on the floor in the kitchen with the the stab wounds. So they ruled it. So when she went to the medical examiner's office, they ruled it a homicide. Then they switched it the next day to the S word. I don't know why we can say homicide, but not the other one. And then we're going to hear in new filings that they were going to switch it back to a homicide. But then the medical examiner decided that she said she never heard of this case. She doesn't remember working this. The medical examiner. I was like, what? Yeah. Hey, Celestial. Hey, Reba. Welcome in, everybody coming in. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Steven. Thank you. I appreciate that, Steven. More than you know. Thank you. Appreciate that. I really do. So we're going to watch Nancy. I love Nancy. Nancy's been pulling through the last couple nights. So she actually has a podcast she just released tonight about Diddy. And so I'm like, man, Nancy, because I like to listen to her, but I don't want to force you guys to listen to her that many nights in a row. But I think tomorrow we might just talk about just shoot the crap, just one of those kind of lives. So hey, True Crime Lullabies. And thank you for being out there searching for Sebastian. I've seen the footage. I've seen some of it anyway. I'm glad to see some of it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nancy's been covering Diddy. She said the other night, Eminem, right? And I lost my crap. She's like, he's like a lyrical genius. She said that. She's been on the Diddy train for a while. She's been covering Diddy since the beginning of the summer, I would say, or maybe even before that, because I was going to cover it on the channel. Then I kept putting it off. I was like, no, I was going to do it on my unfiltered channel. And then I just never went over there and did it. And then all of a sudden he got arrested. And I was like, oh, we got to cover it now because, he's in a lot of trouble. So, and it's on her podcast, the new episode of the Diddy saga. So I want to go over what we're going to do is we're going to do like an opposite thing. So we're going to watch Nancy first, because normally I'll read to you guys and we'll go through like that kind of stuff. So what we'll do is we're going to reverse it. We'll go through Nancy first. And then I'm going to show you this website that I found over Ellen Greenberg. It's her whole case file. It has about Ellen Greenberg, the crime scene, the autopsy. It has all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. I really am enjoying this person, whoever does these websites, this webpage anyway. It's called Crime Timelines. Let me know if you guys have heard of it. Okay. Let's see what Nancy's got to say about Ellen Greenberg. She's been talking with Ellen's parents for years now, years and years. So she's going to have them on her show. I was going to see what it said in here. Just everything I just said. Okay. So a former assistant district attorney who worked on this case, he is now speaking out, and that is why all of this is kind of coming up right now. Her parents are filing a civil suit against the Philadelphia Police Department. I'm gonna play and then. Oh wait, what am I doing? I'm on the wrong one. We can watch. We're watching the video. I'm over here about to play the podcast. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, we actually have a video because we usually play the podcast.
Breaking news.
Okay. So don't forget, hit the like button if you don't mind. I don't know who's dressing Nancy. I said it last night because I think it was last night I watched Nancy. Someone's been dressing her. Her style is completely different than it used to be. She looks lovely.
Tonight, a bride-to-be with 1 foot down the aisle is stabbed 20 times.
Yeah,
Her body.
Let me actually, let me show you that in case you guys haven't seen. wonder if it'll show me or not. Okay. It will. So these are animations. These pictures are, but they're reconstructed 3D computer model images, but they're kind of graphic. So I just want to give you a warning, before I flip over the page. But these are going to be, and we'll go through this when we're done, but this is basically what she looked like. And she had a lot of bruising to her. We're going to hear now. So we didn't really hear about it in the beginning of this case, or ever since this case really started, we haven't really heard about the bruising on the neck. I guess there's a lot of bruising that was done prior to this evening. They were in stages of healing. I think this case needs a second look, a third look, fourth look. There is no way that this girl did this to herself. And I may have to get the knife because I do have it, like I said. But she had this wound in her head, those wounds to the back of her neck. I wanted to read the autopsy report on this one, but you guys would have been making fun of me so bad because there was so many medical the medical terminology was beyond. I took one semester of word terminology for nursing school, 100, A+ 100 in that class. I can speak medical terminology, but these words, nope, I couldn't. I couldn't. I was just like, oh my gosh. So this will give us, a little bit of that. So we'll be able to tell where they were, the placement was. So you see that this is the front of her. This is the back of her coming up. Now look at the back of her. There is no way in the whole wide world. Well, I don't want to say that, but So this is the front and this is the back. Okay. So that just gives you a little visual of what she looked like.
Riddled with bruises? How is that ruled suicide? Tonight, a special guest.
I think the words that were, I don't know exactly what they were, but it was I think a lot of it had to do with the breathing and the lungs and those kind of terminology.
Prosecutor from within the district attorney's office breaking his silence. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
Fire Department 842. What's the address?
Giante's on the floor with blood everywhere. Oh my God, she stabbed herself. There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
I don't believe it. I'm going on the record. Ellen Greenberg did not commit suicide. And I am basing that on reams and reams of evidence. Joining us tonight,
Tell him, Nancy,
an assistant district attorney who was within the DA's office that did not investigate properly.
She didn't even say, in my opinion.
But first, I want to see what I can learn from the 911 call. Listen.
Help, I just walked to my apartment. Giante's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
But please come help. Oh no. Oh no. Please hurry, please.
She's bleeding from.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but the oh no's don't even sound like it.
I can't tell.
No, so you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie.
You don't know where she's bleeding from? Can't tell where the blood's coming from?
I think her head. But it's everywhere.
Okay,
it's everywhere.
She might have fallen. Do you know what happened?
She may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple.
Okay, hold on for rescue for her. Stay on the phone.
Well, that's unusual. He says there's blood everywhere, but when authorities arrived they noticed it was an extremely neat scene and very little blood.
I have pictures
In
of that
light
too.
of the fact that the victim, who was sitting up, leaning against the kitchen cabinets, her feet slayed out before her, had been stabbed at least 20 times, including to the back of the neck, the back of the head, and more. And now we're learning that there are bruises to the neck unrelated to the stabs. Let that sink in. Why are there bruises around Ellen's neck? That said more than 911 call. Listen.
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please hurry.
4601 Flat Rock?
Have fun, Faith.
Yes.
What's wrong?
The door was, my fiance inside. She wasn't answering. So after a half hour, I tried to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. She's not responding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at her chest.
I really don't.
Someone's on the way. Look at her chest. Is she flat on her back?
She's on her back. Like,
Okay, look at her chest and tell me if it's going up and down, up and down.
I don't see her moving.
She's not lying down. She was not lying flat on her back. The 911 caller says she's on her back. No. Isn't it true? John Lucy with me, an all-star panel, including Ellen's parents, Josh and Sandy, but with us, Guy DeAndrea, a prosecutor in the office who reviewed the case, Benet Nauer, who is creating a book, What Happened to Ellen.
Thank you,
Tom
Cheryl.
Brennan, consultant for the Greenberg family, Dr. Kendall Crowns, renowned medical examiner, to John Lucy, journalist Penn Live, and the Patriot News of Harrisburg, author of Kill the Story. John Lucy, thank you for being with us. She was not lying flat on her back. And as a matter of fact, isn't it true, John Lucy, that blood had dried going from the nose area across the face toward the ear? There was
I forgot about that. Yeah, there was horizontal, like blood going like this, meaning she would have been laying like flat on her back for it to go that direction. She was found sitting like upright, like slumped against the cabinets. So explain that, because that's just science.
horizontal
science.
dried blood, which means she was not
Thanks, Cheryl.
sitting up when this happened. And when first responders got there, blood was already coagulated on the floor, and her body was cold to the touch, and her fingers were turning blue. Isn't that true?
That is correct. Yeah, she was at the crime scene. The way it was photographed, she is slumped up against the kitchen cabinet with a knife protruding, a 10-inch knife protruding from her chest.
10-inch.
And on the face, you have the wrong way blood based on the position she was found in, which means the conclusion is her body was moved, that at some point she was in that flat on her back position, but somehow moved to be slumped up against the cabinet.
I like what you just said, Lucy. You said the wrong way blood. I've never heard it put like that, like a wrong way driver. The wrong way blood. That captures it perfectly. You are seeing the bride-to-be, Ellen Greenberg, in life, and she is a beauty. Again, joining us an all-star panel, but I think we could all do with another look.
And she was smart, and she was giving, and she was kind. She was a school teacher. I mean, for like third grade or something. I don't know, like first or third grade. Like,
listen to the 911 call. No matter how many times you listen to it, you can always learn something new. Listen.
Okay, so get her flat on her back, bare her chest, okay? Rip her shirt off. Okay, kneel down by her side.
do I have
Oh my
to?
God. Ellie, please.
And listen, you can't freak out, sir.
Okay, I'm trying not. Her shirt won't come off as a zipper. Oh my God, she stabbed herself.
Where?
She's spelling a knife. Oh no, her knife's sticking out.
What?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabs herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't touch it.
You know, maybe it's just me, but if I came in and I found, I didn't even say the words, my husband stabbed, my first thought would not be he stabbed himself.
Heck no.
My first thought would not be he fell on the knife.
Heck no.
That just would not be my first thought. But I'm projecting, and you're not allowed to do that in a court of law. Sandy and Josh Greenberg joining us. These are Ellen's parents. And you can find them on Facebook at Justice for Ellen FB. And at this point,
Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I would say in that instance, because I would think, hell, I don't know. Because you probably be really confused at what you're looking at. I mean, if you think about it, and I don't give Sam I don't give him any credit at all. You know, I really don't. I really don't. But I could see like saying like, oh my gosh, she fell on it. Or, you know, like something like that if you're very confused at what you're looking at. Especially if that door was locked, right? And there's nobody else in there with you guys. Right? I mean, if he's trying to, you know, I don't know. If he is telling the truth, I mean, I could see why he would say that. I could also see why he would say that on the phone with the 911 dispatch because, you know, maybe he wanted to keep it like this whole charade going on because he did, you know, he started it with the door was locked. I mean, you know, the door was locked. Now, I don't know why he would do that. Personally, I don't know why, but I don't know.
they are
It's very bad.
broken, and they are writing their own checks out of their life savings to continue investigating their daughter's homicide. You can find them at GoFundMe, Justice for Ellen. Sandy and Josh, thank you for being with us. This case is still not resolved. Still not resolved.
Yeah,
I
12 years.
want to ask you, and I don't even know how you can sit there
Okay.
calmly. I admire you, and I'm learning from you every day, every time I'm around you. And I treasure the time that we were together in the flesh. I want to know, before I get into all of these facts, how do you keep going? And remember, a lot of crime victims are going to hear what you have to say right now. Tonight, tell us, how, Sandy, do you keep going?
Well, right now it's 13 and a half years and we've been up
Doesn't have
against
answers.
tons of opposition, but
They have no choice.
never felt so empowered that I really do feel we will have justice for
pretty.
Ellen. And hopefully the things that we've been fighting for will help other crime victims.
Joining us, an all-star panel, and I want to remind everyone in our jurisprudence, no one is guilty until they have gone before a jury of their peers and brought on their own evidence if they so wish and tested the state's evidence, and there is a guilty verdict. No one, no matter what you may think, is guilty in our country unless proven so in a court of law. No one in this case has been named a person of interest. No one has been named a suspect. That said, to Guy DeAndrea joining us, former prosecutor in the office who reviewed the Ellen Greenberg case, now a high-profile lawyer at Laffey, Bucci DeAndrea, Reich and Ryan. Guy DeAndrea, thank you for being with us. Now, I'm just looking and listening to the 911 call, and we've got reams of it. My first reaction, if I were to find, let's just say Jackie sitting right here with me in the studio, if I found her stabbed dead, my first reaction would be, oh my stars, she stabbed herself dead. I wouldn't even think that. I called 911 and I would assume she had been murdered, for Pete's sake. But I want to move you from that moment up to the time when you were asked specifically to review the Ellen Greenberg case. After reviewing the file, and I want you to think very carefully before you answer. After reviewing the file in full, do you believe Ellen killed herself?
I started looking into this file, Nancy Grace, back in 2015. And of course, I left the office 2 years later, but I have stayed actively involved because I want so desperately for the truth and for the Greenbergs to get justice. And the justice that I look for is truth, right? And so I stayed very actively involved in terms of keeping up with the Greenbergs, with Tom Brennan. And so from 2015 until now, 2024, with everything that has come out, I can definitively say, as a former homicide prosecutor, that this was not a suicide.
You got a woman dead, stabbed 20 times in the back of the neck, the back of the head, her body covered in bruises. She was making a fruit salad in the middle of making lunch. She had come home early that day because of a blizzard outside. She called all of her children's parents, first grade teacher, to make sure they all got home okay. Then she started making a fruit salad. This is very probative to me. And I got to think it through, Guy. I got to think it.
Like, who thinks, okay, she left school that morning and went and got gas in her vehicle, filled her up, went home. I think she sent out, or she was getting ready to send out save the dates or something for her wedding. Then she makes a fruit salad, or she's in the process of making a fruit salad, when all of a sudden she decides, I'm going to go ahead and take my life right now. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Get through what it means. In one hand, she still had a dish rag from making the fruit salad. She, in the middle, holding the dish rag, making the salad, she stabbed herself? No, she was holding that when somebody else stabbed her. And Guy, I mean, there's just so much, I can't even get it all out. One of the stabs to the back of the neck was so severe, it actually went through the skin and sliced the dura, D-U-R-A, of her spinal cord. And at best, she would have felt nothing, but most likely would have become incapacitated. That was not the last stab. The last stab had to be in the chest, because with her other hand, her right hand, it was still on the knife. Kitchen towel in left hand, knife in the other hand. So does somebody actually want me to believe this girl in the middle of a fruit salad stabbed herself 20 times, even after she's incapacitated, and then plunges a knife in her own chest, Guy? Is that what they want me to believe?
It's not believable. It defies all logic. And the last stab wound, we don't know the order, like you said. The last stab wound was the one to the chest. And now that we know her spinal column was pierced, to your...
Okay, I think Nancy got something wrong. I think she got something wrong. You know me. Where was I just at to look at stuff? Okay. She had the weapon, or the knife, was in her chest. Remember, Sam was like, oh my God, it's in her chest. Like, she fell on it. So I'm looking at right now, and it says a white towel was grasped in her left hand. And it doesn't say anything about her right hand. It just says a hair tie or scrunchie is on her right wrist. That's all it says. So I don't think she had a knife in her right hand. I don't think she had anything in her right hand. I think she had just the towel in her left hand. And we could read through this after we're done, and double check. Because it says, upon further examination, the decedent has a knife embedded in her chest. The right hand is closed and in a loose fist. Sorry, Nance. You know, I sometimes have to correct her. It's okay though.
Your point.
That's why you have to know your cases. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Not only would she be incapacitated, she would have been rendered immediately
She makes you stay on your
incapacitated
toes.
by that stab wound. And who, in the midst of stabbing
Well, she's going to end up striking me now.
themselves, also takes the knife and smacks themselves on the back of the head because she has a huge blunt force trauma to the back of her head.
A Philly teacher found stabbed to death in her own apartment. Her death ruled a
How
suicide
small.
despite stabs in
Tiny.
the back of her head.
Joining me in all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now, but this is not
The pain would be unbearable.
over. Ellen Greenberg did not commit suicide. I would stake anything on it. And this gibberish, this blathering about searching painless ways to commit suicide, well, I can guarantee you, stabbing yourself 20 times is not a painless way to commit suicide. The FBI did a very extensive search of her computers, her laptops, her cell phone, the works, and found no evidence at all of any suicidal searches. As a matter of fact, to Benet Nauer joining us, co-author of What Happened to Ellen. Benet, isn't it true that what was found on her computer were searches of photos, images, and information related to planning a wedding?
That's right, Nancy. And I want to just add, so not only was Ellen preparing food and seeing to her students, she had filled up her car with gas. This was not a person who was ending her life. This was a person who was living her life. Yes, she had searched for things about her wedding. And
Like, seriously, who likes to get gas? Nobody, right? Nobody. So if you're going to do something to yourself, I would think that you wouldn't even care about the gas. I'm not going to be here to bother. You know what I mean? Like, to need it, like, why bother get gas? Why bother eat?
And her therapist said there was no suicidal ideation. Ellen was not suicidal. There was no evidence whatsoever from anywhere that Ellen was suicidal. None.
And in fact, that psychiatrist, Dr. Ellen Berman, is very clear in her written records. No suicidal thoughts, manifestations, no verbal discussion of suicide, nothing. At most, she was having anxiety as it relates to the wedding.
Me too,
Now,
actually.
let me be clear about something. To Josh Greenberg, this is Ellen's dad. She was a daddy's girl. Josh, isn't it true that Ellen and Sam had moved in together into this luxury Venice loft apartments and condos? And she was very, very happy moving forward, ostensibly moving forward with the wedding. But isn't it true, Josh, that prior to her death, she suddenly called home and wanted to move home to Harrisburg? Isn't that true?
Yes. Emphatically, yes. And unexplainable to me.
And Josh, at the time, you gave her some very good advice. You said, listen, if you're anxious about school or you want to transfer schools, finish out the end of the year. Just finish. Don't leave midterm, because that would have been impossible for her to move back home to Harrisburg. And there she is living where they were at Venice Loft in a very high, no crime rate, zero crime rate. I just want to throw that in. So you said, wait it out. And then, of course, then come home if you want to. But don't do it now. Finish the year out. You told her that because you didn't want her, I assume, to get a reputation of leaving in the middle of the school year.
I had two things in my mind. Help my daughter, and I couldn't because I didn't know what was psychologically going on in her mind. and I wanted her not to become not hireable, let's call it, for lack of a better term. I care about her health and her job.
You know, Sandy and Josh, I had a similar thing happen. So maybe I'm projecting, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong. My first job at a law school, I had, let me just say, to put it euphemistically, a very, very recalcitrant judge that I clerked for. And there were many times that I wanted to quit. And my dad said, don't. You finish that clerkship and then go to the next thing. And I did. I did what he told me to do. I get it. At any time, and she spoke to you guys every day and called her mom multiple times during the day. At any time, did she ever state to you, I want to kill myself? You know, sometimes people say that in jest, but did she ever say anything like that?
No.
No, that
But she wouldn't say that to her parents, I don't think.
never came up.
I'm
Not
just
even
saying.
close to it. Home was as far as she wanted to go.
Who is Ellen Greenberg? Listen.
Ellen Greenberg is a first grade teacher in Philadelphia. At 27 years old, she and longtime boyfriend Sam Goldberg have just sent out save the date cards for their upcoming wedding. A blizzard is bearing down on Philadelphia, and school has dismissed everyone early. And on her way home, Ellen stops to fill up her gas tank. Once she's home with her fiance, Sam Goldberg leaves around 4:45 p.m. to work out in the apartment complex gym. When Sam arrives back less than an hour later, the door is locked from the inside.
Okay, the door locked from the inside. Joining me right now, Tom Brennan, private eye consultant with the Greenberg family. He's been on the case from the get-go, extremely loyal. He's standing by the case and the Greenbergs. Tom Brennan, explain to me about what kind of lock that was. It's my understanding it's one like you see a lot of times in a hotel. It's got a swing over, and you swing it over, and you can open the door from the outside about that much, but then it stops it.
Yes, you can. It's called a swinging bar lock, and you'll find them in any type of hotel or motel. But in order to disengage or unlock that lock.
So it's unlocked now, but okay. Do you see how this isn't even like away from the door? Like this back nail is still in. It's still in the wood. This one on the top, I believe, is out, but the one on the bottom isn't. And then there's two more right here. To me, I don't know. I don't think that that's the way he got in. I think this is maybe like a previous incident of some sort. Because to me, you would think that if he busted in the door, right, one of these parts would have fell off because that latch would have latched over.
One or the other piece has to become dismounted.
Oh, look, he's saying it too.
And one of the first things I looked at was the door. Okay. This is a particle board door, and you can see the damage to it. And down below on the floor in the other photographs, there should
particle board for your front door? Who the hell has a particle door for their front door? Aren't those normally doors that you would put like in your hallway to lead into your bedroom? What kind of an apartment is this? My door's metal. And if it was not metal, I would be like, better give me a metal door. Like, who has a particle board door? I'm just saying, like, why would you put a lock like this even on a door made of particle board? You could kick right through a door made of particle board.
should have been some particle, wood particles, and there's one
You could tell
screw
it's particle
missing.
board right here too, because the
That
wood.
other screw should have been on the floor. Well, none of those things came into view. They weren't there. that indicated to me that, if you would have put your shoulder to that door, one or the other piece would have had to come off, would have had been dismounted from either the door jamb or the door. The Pennsylvania State Police sent me to lock school, and I did the surreptitious entries for the department, and I know a lot about locks, and that is not, that's what we refer to as staging. It's made to look like it was damaged.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all of our content where we, in our own way, seek justice.
What happened to beloved Philly teacher Ellen Greenberg? The Pennsylvania Supreme Court agrees to review the case amidst a controversial ruling.
Forensic pathologist Dr. Wayne K. Ross is commissioned by the Greenbergs to review the case. Dr. Ross says there's evidence of strangulation. Ross says there's a mark over the front of the neck and in the strap muscles over the right side of the neck, claiming these patterns are compatible with a manual strangulation. Ross also points out the number of bruises over different parts of Greenberg's body are consistent with repeated beatings. He writes, "It is my opinion that the investigating authorities should pursue this case as a homicide. It is further my opinion, to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that the manner of death is a homicide. The scene findings were indicative of a homicide."
You could literally kick through it.
Again, joining me, an esteemed medical examiner, Dr. Kendall Crowns, the chief medical examiner of Tarrant County. That's
what I
Fort
thought.
Worth. Never a lack of business there.
But that's their front door, and it's made of particle board. Very weird. Like, you would think. And this is a fancy schmancy place.
At morgue. Lecturer at
Sounds
the
weird.
Burnett School of Medicine at TCU, Dr. Kendall Crowns. Thank you for being with us. Dr. Crowns, the medical examiner, which is another can of worms I want to talk to you about, initially, wait for it, ruled this case a homicide. Initially, Dr. Osborne. Then, after a secret meeting, I can't even find out who was at the meeting, between police representatives and representatives from your office, DeAndrea, your old office, from the DA's office and police, go to the medical examiner after he rules homicide. And in that meeting, somehow the ruling was changed to suicide after he ruled it homicide. I'm going to talk to you later about being pressured to change a COD, cause of death ruling. But first, and more important, the substance of this case. I want you to talk to me, if you don't mind, about the strap muscles over the right side of Ellen Greenberg's neck and signs of strangulation. What does that mean?
Signs of strangulation are often bruises about the neck in the area, especially when it's a manual strangulation. So someone grabs you by the neck and they're strangling you, or with both hands.
And there are pictures, and she does have spots like that on her neck. Brian Enton had them.
Usually your
them on
fingernails
Twitter,
will
probably.
dig into the skin. They will leave bruises, semi-lunar type shapes, which is the nails digging in, but you'll get bruises on the neck. And then the strap muscles in the neck are the muscles of the anterior neck, or the front of your neck, that are going along these areas of your neck. And they're often, in manual strangulations, you will see hemorrhages in those as well. So when you see bruises on the neck with hemorrhages in the strap muscles, it makes you very suspicious for a manual strangulation. Other things you'll look for is petechiae, or little tiny dot hemorrhages in the eyes as well. Don't always necessarily see those, but again, those are signs of strangulation.
Hold on. I didn't want to interrupt you. I was trying to drink in every word, but I want to be clear. This forensic pathologist, Dr. Wayne K. Ross, is hired. You know how much money the Greenbergs have spent trying to investigate this and clear their daughter's name? This forensic pathologist says there is evidence of strangulation. There is a mark on the front of the neck and in the strap muscles over the right side of the neck. And I would like to emphasize the word and. It's not just a mark on the front of the neck. That is combined with patterns compatible with manual strangulation by hand, not ligature, on the strap muscles. Could you show me the strap muscles again, Dr. Kendall Crowns?
Certainly. The strap muscles are the muscles that are on the front of your neck, and they all sit here and here. So you'll see anytime in a manual strangulation, the strap muscles will show injury from the hand digging into those muscles.
You stated, Dr. Kendall Crowns, that this could be indicative of strangulation. My question to you is, how else could they get there? If it's not strangulation, who's going to get bruising right here? How does that happen? Pilates?
Well, not Pilates, unless it's aggressive Pilates. I don't know. But you could get a punch.
Have you ever
to the
even
neck
done Pilates?
I have not. Nor have I done goat yoga.
Then you don't. What aggressive Pilates are you even talking about?
Nor have I done goat yoga. I thought he was going to be boring, but he's making me laugh because he's so monotone. And I'm going to take him back a minute.
You could get a punch.
Have you ever
to the
even
neck
done Pilates?
I have not. Nor have I done goat
Then
yoga.
you don't. What aggressive Pilates are you even talking about? I've done Pilates. It was painful, but nothing touched my neck. I can guarantee you that.
She said it was painful.
Understood. But so I don't think it's Pilates. I do think it could be strangulation. It could be a punch to the neck, especially with all these stab wounds that you have involved. It could be a form of control.
The way the pictures are, it looks like handprints.
As well.
Crowns,
They're stabbing
you're
them.
the last person I want to argue with because I know I'm in over my head. But how?
He said so. She could have, and I'm just. This is the doctor. This is the doctor who's making me think. He's making me think. So I guess keep herself more, sturdy. I don't see you doing it that many times there's no way.
How could a punch to the neck end up in bruising on the strap muscles? That would be two marks. It didn't say strap muscle. It said muscle. So how could one punch result in multiple bruising?
Well, your assumption of one punch was going to bruise one side, but you could punch multiple times. It is a stabbing. It's a melee type situation, so a lot could be going on. Now, strangulation makes more sense, but you did ask, could something else cause it? Yes, blunt force injuries, multiple strikes to the neck could cause that as well.
Okay, Dr. Kendall Crowns, if she received, let's just pretend that theory is true for a moment. If she received punches to the neck, would those be the bruises that you would expect to see?
Not likely. The bruising that I've seen in the pictures looks more consistent with a manual strangulation than anything else.
And very quickly, let me follow up with Tom Brennan. In the original medical examiner's report, did he, Osborne, notice the bruises to the neck?
There's no indication in the autopsy report that states that. The only
so that
time
was completely ignored and would have indicated strangulation.
No, the only time the neck was addressed was when Dr. Wayne Ross and I were reviewing the autopsy photos, and in the autopsy photos, we found the damage to the neck and the indication that there were some. It looked like a nail mark on the right side of the neck.
A nail mark? Ellen Greenberg had a nail mark, fingernail mark on her neck. Okay, Brennan, this is a yes, no, lightning round. Are you sure that you and the pathologist saw a nail mark, N-A-I-L mark?
Yes, we took a photograph of it.
Okay. Dr. Kendall Crowns, I knew there was bruising to the neck, did not know there was a fingernail mark. Does that change your assumption about aggressive Pilates or a punch to the neck?
So yeah, some nail marks again would be from digging the hand in. They leave these kind of semi-lunar marks. That would be a manual strangulation.
Straight back to Guy DeAndrea, former prosecutor in the office who personally reviewed, combed through with a fine-tooth comb the Ellen Greenberg file. Now lawyer Leafy, Bucci, DeAndrea, Reich, and Ryan. Guy, I feel...
I mean, really, how many lawyers do they have working at this place?
Sick. This is the same feeling I would have in court, talking to the medical examiner and hearing the evidence, and then look over at the defendant and they would be claiming some crazy thing. Weigh in. I mean, don't you just want to jump out of your skin hearing all this?
Absolutely, Nancy. And in reviewing the medical examiner's report, I had so many issues once I dug in and investigated. And now learning everything I'm learning, up to this point, it's baffling to me. And one of the things, that I've always struggled with, and I know you know this fact, but in the medical examiner's report, there's talk of a neuropathologist, Dr. Rourke, doing the neuropathological examination. That never happened. I discovered that never happened. So why is it in the medical examiner's report as a fact?
Okay, I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm going to call in Benet Nauer. Don't take the camera off of DeAndrea. With me, Benet Nauer, who together we're writing What Happened to Ellen. Benet,
Don't take the
we have
camera.
gone over and over and over. Dr. Rourke Adams, who Osborne, the medical examiner, says, yeah, I brought her in on this because she's a neuro brain neck pathologist. And I wanted her to look at the dura, that part of Ellen's spine that was nicked. Nothing. And then, isn't it true, Benet Nauer, that Dr. Rourke Adams doesn't remember this ever happening? And she didn't put in her notes. She didn't put her day timer. And her practice was to always bill. I mean, the woman's got to make a living. She didn't submit a bill. There's no record this ever happened. And Rourke Adams says, I have no recollection of that ever happening. Isn't that true, Benet Nauer?
That is absolutely true. Tragically and infuriatingly, this is just one of the many things in this case that makes no sense, that defies logic, that defies authenticity, that defies how everything is handled in these cases. I want to just say something about the nail mark. Joseph Scott Morgan, in his investigation for you, talked about the nail mark within the bruising, and what he said, this is a quote, "What we see in a classic strangulation are these classic nail marks, like a rake moving through the skin. This indicates a struggle."
Guy DeAndrea, when you saw and you believed in your heart of hearts that this is not a suicide, did you tell anybody in the DA's office?
I did. And my superiors, who were, at least my immediate superior, was very supportive of me doing the investigation. And she asked, what do I want to do? And at the time, I didn't know that I was going to leave to join private practice, but we were just going to wait for the independent neuropathological autopsy that was going to be performed on that piece of the spinal column. And then
this is the former prosecutor.
I was under the impression that, I even think if I had stayed, sadly, that this would have been changed back in 2017. That is what was being indicated to me, not just by my office, but also by the medical examiner's office, meaning at a minimum, it's going to be undetermined, but potentially, depending on what the neuropath says, homicide. And that was 7 years ago.
To John Lucy joining us from Penn Live and the Patriot News of Harrisburg, who's been
And they can't go back and test for this stuff.
on the case from the very beginning. Response: how can this stand? How can we stand for this?
Well, unfortunately, in Pennsylvania, medical examiners and coroners have a wide discretion in determining the manner of death. And that's the crux of the court case that is now before the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania to change that. That's the odyssey that the Greenbergs have been on, spending at last count $700,000 of their own money to get to this doorstep of justice.
Wow.
And then there is the secret meeting. And I just want to throw out there, and anybody on the panel that knows about this, jump in. Please. We need everybody in the brain trust jumping in. Then there is the secret meeting with the medical examiner. He determined this to be a homicide, obviously. Then there's a secret meeting with police and DAs. And suddenly, the ruling is changed to Tom Brennan, PI consultant for the Greenberg family.
Yes.
What happened? And is it true a female district attorney that was in that meeting has been given immunity? You do that when you're looking at a criminal charge.
Yeah.
Yes, she's been given what they call high immunity, because we were going to name her in the suit. So she's been given high immunity, and we couldn't name her as one of the defendants in the lawsuit.
I'm not asking you her name, but do you know her name?
Yes.
Guy DeAndrea, help me. I don't understand it. And I don't understand why this is not being changed. It's so obvious. You told the district attorney's office this is wrong, and nobody did anything and still haven't done anything. Why?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And, ultimately, though, it's the medical examiners who have to change it. Sadly, the DA's office would have no authority to do that. And unless the medical examiner's office changes it, I mean, this as a prosecutor, how do you prosecute a homicide when it's ruled a suicide, right? And I asked if you want me to tell you about that meeting, about why it was changed from homicide to suicide.
Yes,
I asked them.
tell me.
Yeah. They told me that the assigned detective went to them and said this would be an impossibility to be a homicide, because the door was an old-fashioned deadbolt that locked into the frame. Like, if I grew up in a house like that, and if you can't breach that door, and if you do breach it, you're taking the whole door off the hinges. And so that's what he convinced the medical examiner. Now, when I debunked that, they had a million other excuses as to why it wasn't a homicide, but that was the answer, the singular answer that was disprovable by looking at a single photograph, right? And so right from the jump, I knew there was something off here.
How did you debunk the theory about the door?
Yeah, so I looked at the photographs and I said, wait a second, why is this is a latch? This is not a deadbolt by any stretch of anyone's imagination. Yeah. How is it that if you breach this door, either one of those pieces isn't on the ground? But putting that aside, I said to the medical examiner, not to be silly, but Google it. You can Google this right now on YouTube and find out that you can use a hanger, a stick of gum, slam the door too hard, use a ruler, do all sorts of things to either lock or unlock this door from the outside. So don't tell me that no one could have gotten in or gotten out if this thing is latched. So if that's the reason that this was moved or changed from a homicide to a suicide, nonsense, change it back. Because I've just told you that is, yeah.
Guy, I wrote a book, Don't Be a Victim. And part of it is about traveling and how to keep yourself safe in a hotel room. We actually did the experiment on a door like that. It's not impenetrable, okay?
No.
By far.
Yeah.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. Guy DeAndrea, how do you feel speaking out against the medical examiner's ruling? Because you're up against a lot of opposition. I mean, this goes all the way up to Shapiro, because he is the one that said HELLNO, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. It was his duty to touch it.
Yeah, and Nancy, I've always prided myself, and I mean this, and not to be sappy, but on justice, and what it means to me is the truth. And if the truth, which it's not, but if the truth is suicide, then it's suicide, but do it the right way. But the truth is what justice is. And when people are looking, how can anyone with a straight face now in 2024, quite frankly, it should have been a long time ago, but in 2024, with all of this evidence, actual evidence, how can anyone comfortably sleep knowing that they've said this is a suicide? It's inexplainable. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. The evidence is clear, and I do not understand why it's taking the Greenbergs to fight tooth and nail, the fortitude they have to keep this fight going just for justice, the truth to be told.
If you know or think you know what happened in this case, if you lived in the building, if you observed anything, please call 1-800-472-8477. Repeat.
1-800-472-8477. Since she didn't repeat it, I turned her off. Kind of I shut Nancy up there. But she usually goes to like another segment at the end of the lives, or at the end of hers, the end of her segment. That makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay. Hold on one second. I want to show you guys something else. Sorry. I wanted to show you some new stuff I found out. Here we go. So this was off of Brian Enton's, like this is what he's been finding out, Brian Enton. So it says surveillance footage captures, but this is on I Am Legacies Twitter. But it says surveillance footage captures Ellen Greenberg's fiance, Sam Goldberg, wearing shorts as he heads up to their apartment where he would later find her unresponsive. However, a key detail emerges from the paramedic who was among the first to arrive at the scene. He distinctly recalls Sam Goldberg wearing sweatpants at that time. This discrepancy raises critical questions. Was there enough time for Sam to change clothing, or is this a case of mistaken memory? The conflicting accounts over something as simple as what he was wearing may seem trivial, but in a high-stakes investigation such as inconsistencies can potentially hold deeper significance. Why is Sam Goldberg never investigated? What we know is Ellen didn't unalive herself. Find Ellen's killer. And I retweeted that, but I wanted to show you guys that because that could be pretty big. If true, you know, for sure. That's my birthday. Oh, that's what you're guys talking about. I just saw the date. I don't know what I want. I don't really need anything. I know what not from anybody here, but I know what I kind of want. But I'm gonna have Vincent get it for me. It's a light. Like it's a light for our bedroom. Like something, you know. That's the only thing I can think of that I even want. Like I can't think of anything. I'm sure there's tons of stuff that I would love. You know, I have to think about it. Turning 39 this year. You know, I know what I know. There's a lot of things that I want. Like that too, you know. I would love to have like my face done, maybe some, I don't know, like some fillers. I don't know. Maybe I might need them. Might need them soon, you guys. No, I have been freaking out a little bit because it's my birthday's this year or this month coming up in October, and I'm like 39. I don't know. It's not. I'm not old by any means. I'm very young. I'm still young, but in my mind. I'm not that young. Like, I know in reality I am young, but in my mind, I'm like, you're feeling it. You're starting to feel it. I did feel it today, though. My legs were hurting today. No, Mr. Rosebud, I wouldn't. But I would maybe. I don't know what I would do. I do like I don't know. I have like this little spot, and I just feel like maybe I would do surgery, but they would do it on my eye anyway. So. Oh, what are you guys talking about? Listening to what? Okay, yeah, Mary Beth, that's fine. I just saw where you said you listened to the shop address. I was just just chatting. See, true crime lullabies. This is the only first time that's really bothered me. My birthday's never bothered me. I'm just like, this year it's just different. Hits different. It's hitting different. I think it's going to be my last year at my 30s, and there's a lot of things that I want to do in my 30s. So, got to get them done. We've got a year, guys. We've got a year and a month. Time just flies by. That's all. It just flies by. Oh, thanks, true crime. My brother got a hold of me the other day. He must be probably because my birthday's coming up too. But yeah, he made me feel good. Now, hopefully, he'll get a hold of me on my birthday. I sent him a card because I'm sentimental like that. I always send him a card on his birthday, even though he's 47 years old. And I'll probably send him another one this year. It's just what I do. That's what I do. Oh, Kim's getting a spa weekend. Oh, that's nice. How do you make sure the dyed hair? Oh, I don't know. I dyed my hair one time in the past 16 years, and I shouldn't have, and I hated it, and I regret it, and I spent way too much money on it, and they chopped my hair off wrong, and that's why my hair is this short now. It used to be really long, and they screwed me up. But I am going to get it cut again. The third, it's got dead ends. It's looking terrible, so it needs to be cut a little bit. Hey, Panda. So I was just going to read through a little bit of this with you guys, and then we can always come back and look at this again later as well. Where was I wanting to show you? This is all the crime scene photos. So I was going to go through the police report here, just what it says up top. It says detectives arrived to the scene at 20:27 and was met by 5th District Police. And their last name was Snipes and Young, holding the log. Detective Ferguson, Detective Veal, Detective Rev, the assigned homicide detective Sierra and Peters arrived a short time later. The decedent's fiance, Samuel Goldberg, date of birth along with his family and some friends are also present. When do you, why are their friends there? Why are his parents there? Like, why is his family there? It's not to say parents, it's family. Why? Your fiance is laying dead in the kitchen. I wouldn't think to call my parents. To the point where it would be in the police report. Nope, I don't think I would. And your friends, I wouldn't call my friends at all. Like, they would have to call me. I would be a mess. Ellen's body was found on the hardwood kitchen floor located just inside the door entrance. The decedent is found supine with her head and some of her upper body / shoulders resting against the lower half of the white kitchen cabinets next to the range. Her body, starting with the head, is facing north and the legs west. She is clad in a zipper up dark colored shirt over top a t-shirt and then gray sweatpants, underwear, and light brown Ugg boots. A pair of eyeglasses are on the floor to the right of the decedent. A white towel is grasped in her left hand. A hair tie or scrunchie is on her right wrist. And there is no personal effects on the body. So where's her engagement ring? Never heard anybody talk about that. Where's her engagement ring? No personal effects on the body. What'd you do? Steal it? Where the hell's her engagement ring? I'm sure it was beautiful. Where is it? I mean, they're getting ready to get married. Like, they just then out save the date. So, upon further examination of the body, the decedent has a knife embedded in her left chest. I was just playing that out online. Through her clothing, there are multiple stab wounds examined at the scene at the chest where the knife is located. A few superficial grouped nearby, one to the left upper chest near the clavicle, two more at the mid chest between and just below the breast. There are defects to the shirt consistent with underlying wounds. There are no defense injuries to the hands, wrist, or forearms. The right hand is closed in a loose fist. Post-mortem findings at arrival at 2027 and 2155 are the same. The body is mostly flaccid. The hands appear to be slightly stiff. The body is cool to the touch at the extremities and warm to the touch at the torso, front and back. Lividity is inconspicuous. Findings are consistent with current position of the body. Blood is present on the head, intile, hair, and neck. It says the right hand has red stuff on it. On the front side of her shirts, along her pants, on the tile front side, and on the top, both of her boots is BLOD. The right boot has the same stuff on the sole. The red stuff around her is generally confined to the area of the body, on the floor underneath, and on the face of the cabinets behind her. One small spatter is on the tile cabinet to the left of the body. Two separate drops of spatter are on the granite countertop above her. Wow. Okay. Two kitchen knives are in the sink adjacent to the body. They are free of anything on them, like biologicals, no tissue, none of that. The sink underneath is dry and also bears no evidence of any biologicals. A knife block is on the counter between the sink and range. It is turned over to the side. The three utensils are a spatula, fork, and paring knife. All that bears no evidence of biologicals. The knife in her body is consistent with the knife set found in the sink and in the block. Why? I have a question. Hold on a second. Hold on. Who uses an 11-inch knife to cut up a salad, a fruit salad, when you have when you get a paring knife with that block? I used to sell those Cutco blocks. Or you could use any other knife, but I mean, an 11-inch serrated knife? That's weird. That's weird to me. Inside a bedroom drawer, I can't read that. Recovered the victim's prescription drugs, which included 2 types of anti-anxiety medication and a sleep aid. The medication had been prescribed by Dr. Ellen Berman, a psychiatrist who saw the patient on 3 occasions in the 2 weeks preceding her death. Also, yeah, she was on medication. Why didn't she just take one? If she was like having a moment, of where she felt like she was going to do something to harm herself, she must have been having some crazy anxiety if that were the case, right? So why wouldn't she just take one of her medications and then calm down? Like, it's just too much. 0 to 60 with no reason, nothing in between, So this is his fiance Goldberg statement. Mr. Goldberg told the officers who responded to the 911 call that he had left the couple's 6th floor apartment to visit their building's gym at approximately 4:45 p.m. Approximately 45 minutes later, Mr. Goldberg said he returned to the 6th floor but found the apartment's door swinging bar locked, engaged from the inside. Mr. Goldberg explained that he returned to the building lobby to try to reach the victim via cell phone calls and text messages. When approximately 1 hour had passed without a response, Mr. Goldberg said he decided to enter the apartment by force. Mr. Goldberg stated he had returned to the 6th floor accompanied by a building security guard, later identified as Philip Hanton, and forced open the door. Once inside, Mr. Goldberg discovered the victim seated on the kitchen floor and her head slouched over. Mr. Goldberg recounted that he immediately called 911. In accordance with the emergency operator's instructions, Mr. Goldberg lifted the victim's slouted head in order to perform cardiopulmonary CPR resuscitation. At the moment, Mr. Goldberg discovered the knife lodged in the victim's chest. Medics arrived and pronounced the victim dead at 6:40. In a written declaratio, Mr. Hanton stated that he did not accompany Mr. Goldberg to the 6th floor on the night in question and did not present when Mr. Goldberg entered the apartment. So Sam's saying, hey, I had this security guard with me, and he's saying, no, I wasn't with him. I didn't go up there when he kicked that door in. So the only person that saw Sam kick the door in is Sam. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, Sam. And then these are just go over her injuries. This is where she was sitting. It's crazy. Like, there's not a lot of, biologicals. I'm just going to start using that word for like BLOOD. Yeah, she was like not cold, but I think she was like chill, they said, to the touch, and they said that her stomach though was still warm. I don't know how, and they said front and back. So I don't know. I know that a lot of time they'll test your liver, the temperature of your liver, to see how long ago prior to that you died. And I'm sure that's probably what they did there. But and we read the police report already on one of our lives. This is the front door here. I don't know. Why would you put this big old lock on a crappy door? You know what I mean? If it is made of plywood or whatever. Or what was it? Is that what it was? Plywood? Plywood. Weird. And then we can go over this and refer to this as needed as well, too. Because I do feel like they're going to get somewhere with this case. I really do. I think they'll at least get this, the medical examiner's determination. I think that they have a fighting chance, her parents have, of getting it turned into a different ruling. Now, I know that she is Jewish, and so they buried her in a shroud, like kind of, I believe, like, where they like wrap you up in like linen. And I'm not sure where they put her, if it was like a tomb or what kind of area. So I don't know if they would be, and with a religion, I don't know if they would be willing to or wanting to, because, it's very different, retest on her. I hate to say it like that. And I don't know if they'd be able to, since she's not encased in like a regular coffin and embalmed. That might be harder. I don't really know how that works. That's something I'm not really sure about. What do you guys think? Is it Pancakes' birthday? Oh, next Friday. Well, happy early birthday, Pancakes. It might be copyrighted. Wow, is it? Probably is, Phantom. Oh, you know what? Them sons of Diddy tried to copy Diddy. What? Dude, you are in enough trouble. Stop trying to copyright over here on old music. Now I got to figure out which song it was. It was one of them. Oh man, it was like I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I just took the song out. I just clipped the song out, so there's just like 10 seconds of literally silence. I don't care. I'm not doing that. Not sharing any kind of anything with you monetarily. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know who exactly it was, but let me see if I can find out. Where would that be? Oh, it won't let me look now. 'Cause it'll tell you. Dang it. It'll tell you, but I trimmed it out already, so I don't think it'll tell me. If anyone knows, let me know because then I'll go tell you. But yeah, it was for one of his songs. It was one of his old songs. I can't remember exactly which song it was. I only have 600 views on the freaking video anyway. And it was like completely blocked at one point. And I was like, what? I'm like, dude, you're already in some trouble. Like, leave me alone. Leave me out of it, you know? Leave me out of it over here. And they ended up releasing it with limited. Now I've got to fight that because I don't want limited. I don't want limited. It's under review. Well, Diddy, you're in jail. So I don't know. But I don't know exactly who it was. But we did have a live earlier today. If you guys did miss it, it was over the disappearance. It's over the, I guess it's recovery of mother Mamta Kaffelbat. I was trying to think if how to put that. Let me put the link in the chat in case you guys want to watch it. It was a pretty good update. Ellen's parents are fighting all of this at the supreme level. So they're waiting on decisions to come back. I think with what the paramedic is saying, about what Sam was wearing, couple that, I guess, with the wounds, the way that she was unalived, or, everything. The lack of, I don't know, there's just a lack of evidence here with either way. I feel like it just doesn't seem like she did this to herself to me. Who fills up their car and gas? I mean, okay, maybe she decided to do that because her car was almost empty and she didn't want to put anybody out. Who goes home though and makes themselves a fruit salad? Right? And who uses 3 different knives to make a fruit salad? They said that was all that was in the sink was 2 knives. So there was 1 in her chest and 2 in the sink. It's very weird. It's very weird. They didn't find her yet. No, not yet. But there was some good updates though for the case. They had a court hearing and stuff. So that's what we covered today. Press conference. New press conference. It just came out today too. So it was all today. I didn't even realize that when I came on. I was like, oh, this just happened. This is like afternoon, like at 12 o'clock today or something. So I was excited to show that to you guys. Body cam footage with Naresh Bhatt, the husband. The body cam footage is of the day that they went to go check on her, the 2nd of August. And he said she's with her family in another state. She doesn't have family in another state. That's impossible, buddy. Crazy. But I think tomorrow we will maybe do like maybe we'll just have like an open chat and just shoot the shit. Maybe that's what we'll do. Or we'll do Diddy updates or something. I have other stuff too. I want to do Chelsea Grimm. I've been looking every single day. Jesse Vang and Katrina Bauer have not been charged with unaliving Elijah Vu yet, although they found his body. So I'm still waiting. It'll be on my computer, up in my tabs till they are. And there are new details in this other case that we were covering a while back, but I think we'd have to do them again, like go over the case again. What else do we have? Oh, I don't know who it was. Okay, one of y'all asked me, hold on, let me get this over here. Can I just do this? Yeah. Okay. Let me see. I had to go to a different screen. Okay. So one of you guys, if you're watching on replay, hopefully you guys hear this. I went over to, let me pull this up actually. Wait, where the hell? I'm like, where the heck am I? There I am. Okay. Let me pull this up really quick. So Connor Bowman, he unalived his wife, Betty Bowman. One of you guys were asking me about like, when does he go to trial? When does he go to court next? And I was like, you know what? I haven't even looked up Connor Bowman in forever. So I tried to do it on the live and I was like, I'll just do it after the live, I'd let you guys know. So he's been detained. It says in custody, detains through 9/27/2024. And his booking date was 10/20/2023. And he's on incarceration reasons, new charges, awaiting bail or bond, second-degree murder with intent, and then first-degree murder premeditated. So he's in a lot of trouble. So where are we at? I looked it up and it showed me when he was going to court next. Let's see. Now it's not showing me. Let's look under, I don't know if it'll. I should have wrote the date down. This is what it is. Case search. Case number. Let me just look up the number really quick. The case number. Here it is. It doesn't like pull him up by his name. It only pulls him up by like the case number on this other site. Is this it? Yeah. This is it. Okay. So let's view the case detail. It was down here. Okay, so this was today because he was in court today, I thought. Right here. 9/27, notice of judicial determination. View document. And request denied. And I believe that was for them to dismiss the whole case. They were trying to get the case dismissed. So other than that, it does not have anything as of right now. Now 1/16/2024 that's just something else. Okay. Yeah, this was the last one. So I'll keep my eye out. I'll keep looking and stuff, but that's what I could find out. He is still in custody though, in Olmsted County. And he's something else. He wanted to try to get the case dismissed, but no, it won't get dismissed. Hey, Dreamcatcher. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll have to look at it. I was just reading the chat. Do you guys have any exciting plans tomorrow? I think it actually, stopped raining here. I don't know. I don't know though. It sounds like it's still raining. Me too, Kelly. No, Scott Peterson, he won't. No, they tested the evidence and it came back as like everything was still the same, I thought. Like the evidence that was in the van, the carpet or something they tested. I don't think he'll get out. I was looking up the weather. I'm like, what am I looking up? Just couldn't even remember. It says 45% chance. And then it's going to start raining tomorrow at noon. I need a new umbrella. Mine broke. I don't know. It was a really nice one. I loved that umbrella. It was really nice. It was like sturdy and stuff, but the little metal thing just broke. I'm like, oh, okay then. Okay. So I'm gonna get one of those like little clear ones. I think the clear little ones are cute. You think Sam did it too? Oh wow. Oh, you good, Squeaky? Because you guys are getting hit around there. But I'm going to jump off of here. Go ahead and hit the like button if you don't mind. Hit the subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to all new content. And I will be on tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. I might do a day live tomorrow and a night live. So if you want to be here for those, make sure the bell's on. You got it turned on, and that way it'll alert you. And I will see you guys all tomorrow on the live. Have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.